How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and yeah, I'm going to go and do another quick mission. This one's called Beautiful View, which I was kind of close to it anyway. When I just finished the last mission, called Stony Ford, yeah, I kind of ended at the bottom of these cliffs, and there's two locations. You can see one's kind of straight up in front of me, and then there's one over to the left as well. And yeah, there's one thing that I sort of like. This map, at least, anyway, I can't really say like the whole game, but it seems a little bit more vague on how to get to certain places, and you just kind of have to wing it and figure it out. That obviously makes sense why they've added stuff like the anchors and the jack screws, because if you had the same concept as SnowRunner, where every time you roll you'd have to send another vehicle in and all the rest of it, it'd probably make certain elements of this map like just a bit of a pain in the arse, because I imagine really you're going to be rolling like every 2 minutes. I've been pretty delicate and careful tonight because I kind of wanted to get the footage without going too mad and spending 2 hours like rolling down cliffs and all the rest of it. But yeah, I could imagine with my usual driving style and the amount of attention I pay, yeah, I'll be crashing quite a bit. Good news is though, I looked in the trophy in the PlayStation thing, and there is various trophies for either crashing X amount of times or recovering to the garage or whatever it is. So yeah, they're encouraging me. I'll blame them. Yeah, so setting off, like I say, they're pretty much in front of me. Every bloody video I've done today, it's been some fucking cop car or something flying past. I bet they're not even doing it, they're just skipping traffic. Because every time there's traffic lights or a traffic jam near my house, the amount of police sirens suddenly goes through the roof. And then when they get to the other side, emergency over, and they turn the sirens back off. Yeah, so where I started, I didn't actually set off from the garage. Again, like, these videos that I've done today, the footage is a little bit kind of raw and scruffy and all the rest of it. Not just a combination of, like, I just wanted to crank out any old video, but normally with editing I can kind of nip out all the little bits that I know are kind of wasting time and just get down to the pure, say, mission and all the rest of it. But with SnowRunner, I've done enough videos and we've all seen enough of the maps and whatnot to just cut to that, whereas as this is a new game, I kind of, every little bit, it's like, well, do I want to cut that out, because it is kind of part of what's going on in like the video in the new game. So yeah, I've just kind of left the footage pretty much as is. Thankfully, these first missions I've done are all kind of like 10-15 minutes really, if that long, and the fact that the editing is pretty untouched, I'm actually able to kind of get a few videos done pretty quickly. But yeah, as like when I get more into the game and get used to what's going on and that, the footage and all the rest of it should be a little bit more streamlined and smooth. Yeah, climbed up these kind of cliffs. I like this whole area. It sort of reminds me a little bit Red Dead Redemption in some places. Decided to climb down that cliff, however, made it to a dead end. I was like, oh, so tempted to just dive off there. I mean, I could have, even if I rolled. One, you got the jack screw or the anchors. Secondly, I could just recover, and the garage is only really probably like in the background in a minute when I'm reversing. Yeah, just to the right of the screen, so it wouldn't be the end of the world if I did roll, really. I think the reason I didn't, I'm sure, was it this mission? One of the bonus rewards for the mission said, like, take less than 100 damage, I think it was. So I kind of figured if I throw it off the cliff, I'll probably take quite a bit of damage, and yeah, kind of checkmate myself on getting that. I think this was the mission anyway. So I've crawled down here. There's the tree. I drove past that a minute ago, so I kind of went around the other way. But yeah, I'm sort of climbing back down the cliffs the way I came up, as maybe if you zigzag through all the little cliffs and ledges, I could get from where I was kind of over to that blue marker, but I really don't see the point. It was just much easier, better, more sensible to drive back the way I came, and then yeah, start heading along it. And yeah, with the game, I mean, like, first impressions, it's good. It's an odd one, because it's like, obviously very like SnowRunner, but at the same time it's trying to differentiate itself from SnowRunner. Yeah, but I certainly don't think it's a bad thing. Again, I like SnowRunner a lot. I like messing around on that, and this is sort of bordering on like almost, if you look at it, as like a version of a DLC for SnowRunner. I'll still be getting the Season 4 of SnowRunner and carrying on with SnowRunner. Like, yeah, I like that game a hell of a lot. Obviously got me loafs, got plenty of trucks on there. And, yeah, as long as I keep it like another Season 4, it's all new maps and everything, so it just as well could be a new game in and of its own right anyway. But yeah, for now, I certainly think, yeah, this game's got potential for like a bit of a new angle on things. And yeah, first impressions, like I say, I like how bright the maps are. I kind of like some of the way the vehicles, at least so far, feel a little bit better weighted, and like they act a little bit more realistically when you're driving over rocks, or if you roll, it feels a little bit more, a little closer to what real life would be like. And yeah, like I say, there's a few things. It's a weird one, like with first impressions, because, like I say, it's very like SnowRunner, but it's not exactly SnowRunner. So, trying to sort of just get used to like the little differences. But yeah, like I'll get these videos done tonight. I'll obviously have like a bit of a longer go on the game and messing around and all the rest of it, and yeah, I'll have more of like a solid opinion. I certainly think it's a good game. I don't think like. I don't think it's a rip-off or anything like that at all, but I've obviously only done a couple of missions. I don't know how long it'll take me in total to do like the Arizona region and the Appalachians region and all that, so I don't know how much game I've got for that. But with the version of the game I got with the Year 1 pass, there's obviously going to be a year's worth of stuff they're adding as well, so on top of the base game. Yeah, so it's one of them. I'm not trying to sort of shy away from saying it's a good game. I don't want to automatically say, yep, green flag everyone, go out and get it. Like, yeah, I don't. The fact that it's pretty similar to SnowRunner, I think anyone that likes SnowRunner, carry on enjoying SnowRunner, and then you can kind of get an impression over the next, week or two or whatever, or more. But I just saw a comment, Mark Rowe, saying he's not got it yet. He might get it in the future, like when it's on sale or something. But he's gonna carry on with SnowRunner, which, yeah, I'll fully get. Like, I'm gonna do both games, but SnowRunner is still my my main game. Certainly, like again with loaf. It'll be interesting though. I do like the fact that we've got a loaf in this game, so I'm interested to see how that all works. And yeah, as I was climbing up that cliff, I did the one of those anchor points attached to that and climbing up, but I got the menus mixed up. I pressed up on the D-pad to enter my winches, but it entered first person view, and I just muscle memory pressed circle to back out of it, and then I detached the winch and rolled down. This is the jack screw. So as you can see, essentially what it does is give you like a green ghost version of your truck that's the right way up, and you can kind of float it around, raise it up and down, turn the angle around and whatever, and plant the truck back upright and carry on. Obviously per inventory slot with those jack screws you get 2, so I've just used one of them. Yeah, I believe, like, depending on which vehicles or how much inventory you can hold in that, I should be able to have more than one slot filled. That's what she said. Like, so I reckon some vehicles had like 6 inventory slots. In theory, I could get 12 jack screws then, I believe. But yeah, that was the first time I'd used them. I personally prefer these sort of mobile anchor points. Are pretty cool, just a pretty cool idea, because I sort of I've said it before in SnowRunner that I'd like something like this. I think in real life you've got like land anchors, where it's essentially like a big boat anchor in a way, but you'd sort of dig it into the ground, and off-roaders like winch their trucks to it and that. Yeah, where I used to live on Billinacrodrome, like I said, they did American car shows and all sorts every year, and the biggest shows were the American car shows and the off-roading shows, like tens of thousands. People would just descend upon that place with yeah, Land Rovers and all that sort of stuff. And like I say, I think it's a good idea, because in real life, if you rolled your vehicle in the middle of nowhere, you're going to have set off. If you're doing this kind of thing in real life, like the people who turn up in Land Rovers every year to that place, they're the same people. Off-roaders and preppers kind of are probably the same people. If the government wanted to put all of the preppers on some kind of watch list, just go to an off-roading event, and I'm betting money the vast majority of them will be preppers and vice versa. If you went and found some preppers convention. I bet most of them will turn up in like some kind of Land Rover, and yeah, they'll have land anchors and jack screws and God knows what else. Some kind of SpaceX launch pad and all sorts. So it does make more sense. Like, land anchors are a real thing in real life. As far as the jack screw goes, that's obviously just whatever. Like, if you've got a winch on your vehicle or something, even if you've got like, you know, sort of a hook and a cable with like a ratchet thing that you can keep like making the cable shorter, you could tie that around a tree, tie it to your vehicle and kind of ratchet it back to its wheels. So yeah, it's an interesting variation from SnowRunner, because obviously on SnowRunner, once you roll, that's it. And like, I suppose, well, one, get yourself a goddamn horse over there called a loaf, or two, have an autonomous winch. But the winches are so gutless on SnowRunner, and I will say they do feel a bit too gutless on here. I'll reserve full judgment because I may have the stock version of the winches at the minute. I've kind of looked through the menu. Can't even really remember. I've kind of looked at so much stuff in the last hour or two on this. I can't even remember what I've looked at, what I haven't, what I've put in a video, what I haven't. Yeah, so as you can see, I was climbing up here again. The winch wasn't quite powerful enough. I just couldn't get the front of my truck over there. I kind of ended up swinging around backwards. So I put another one of those anchors just kind of pretty much in the middle of the square I needed to get to, and pulled me back end first. And yeah, task completed, beautiful view. It says something about the panoramas were not easy to get here, but the view's worth it, whatever. You get $1,600 in the bag, which, yeah, I've already spent, like, accidentally 20 or 30 grand on these weird repair station things that are right next to other repair stations. I'm not too sure what all that's about. You can see there, though, I ran over that anchor point, and it does interact with your vehicle, if that makes sense. It's not just like, say, you don't just ghost through it. I don't know what that means, but I ran over it just to see what was going on. And yeah, like I say, another mission in the bag. Obviously, at the beginning, these are all going to be pretty simple missions, just to kind of allow you to get a feel of the game. I will say, to its credit, pretty nice views. That's the sort of bit that was reminding me of certain bits of Red Dead. Yeah, it was a bloody good game in its own right. And yeah, that's that one in the bag. I ended up recovering to the garage, and then it's weird, because the game sort of sits halfway between MudRunner and SnowRunner, in the sense of now I click return to headquarters and it kind of ends the session, says how long I spent on it, distance, fuel used, damage, money I've earned, items sold, whatnot. And then it brings you back to the headquarters, and I assume then at some point I could kind of deploy to that map again, and I can either do free roam or I can choose some of the missions. But yeah, it sort of reminds me a little bit like MudRunner, how it had each separate map and you sort of deploy and do missions, but each time you finish you sort of end the session, and that's what this seems to be pretty similar as well. But yeah, anyway, that's about it for today. I will call it a day now. I think I'm going to go and try and get a bit of sleep, and I'll get back on the game later. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf, or I will. I'll get one on behalf of everyone. Yeah, and I'll be back soon.